As we said, this meeting will be recording, and we will upload the link on YouTube, so anybody that missed this webinar can attend it. Raza, can you put please full screen of the presentation?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Perfect.
Can everyone hear me? Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time out to listen to this very inspiring presentation. My name is Raza Abbas. And before we get started, cultivating hope. This is something that is very close to my heart. I've been practicing hope for the last 15 years, believe it or not, all over the world. So what was your personal motivation to listen about hope? Please share in the chat. Very simple words you can mention in Greek, or you can mention in English. What was your personal motivation to listen about hope? Imparting optimism. Okay, thank you for sharing. Anyone else? What was the reason to listen? What was your personal motivation to listen to hope? Changing the mindset, new skills. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Combat pessimism. Hope dies last. Lies. It's rare these days. Okay, very nice. We have a very engaged audience. What else is coming in your mind when you hear about hope? What comes into your mind when you hear about the hope instantly? So if you meet someone at a university, at a college, at a school, at a nice restaurant, and people talk about hope, what comes into your mind instantly? Provide help, future, light. Wow, very nice. Strength and resilience, very nice. Always willing to try and do your best. Positiveness, resilience, very nice. Short words, but very powerful. Thank you very much. Life, okay. Hope is about life. Nice, I like that. How can we cultivate hope? You know, like we cultivate agricultural crops. Similarly, hope is also, we need to cultivate hope as well, right? So if you have the opportunity and the responsibility to cultivate hope amongst your students, amongst your faculty, amongst your education setting, what would you like to do that? What will be your first, second, and third step to cultivate hope? Okay, very nice. Resilience. Anyone else? Well, thank you very much for participating. Whenever I do these sessions online, it's important to understand the audience, and so it's also important to see how hopeful is the current audience while we go through this talk. And this is a short presentation of about 20 to 25 minutes. But my objective will be to engage with you and to inspire you and to make you more optimistic, hopefully, with your current settings that you are in. Relationships, authentic goals. I like that. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, so before we go into the detail of this presentation, I wanted to share something that is very inspiring. The holiday season is coming up. Christmas is about 3 months from now. So this is a great book to have. It's available on Amazon.com. The World Book of Hope. I was very fortunate to be profiled in this in 2015. And these are some very inspirational quotes from one of the world's leading thinkers and hope scientists. This book has 50 hope projects based on evidence base from all over the world. So if you are a university student, if you teach hope, this is a great book to have and to draw upon the evidence, what works globally. So it will actually give you real hands-on experience. So I would like to share the first one, which I personally really like. It says, dream big. To live is to choose. But to choose well, you must know who you are, what you stand for, where you want to go, and why you want to get there. I think this links into career guidance so perfectly that I wanted to share this up front. And this This is a message of hope from the Nobel Peace Prize winner of and the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. Optimism is at the root of human functioning in an uncertain world. We are in a very interesting world. All over the world, we are going through fragile situations. So it is very important that we need to reframe the way we look at life. And Dr. Robert Biswas is a very leading scholar on positive psychology. Hope matters. Hope is a choice. Hope can be learned. Hope is contagious. Dr. Shane J. Lopez. We should all aspire to be models of hope for others. I think this is a great motivation for people that are in the education context. When we are imparting education, to students, students look up to us as role models, right? So if we are not hopeful, how can we inspire our student body to be hopeful, right? So it's very, very important that we need to walk the talk, and we need to make sure that our values are in action. So this author, I would like to just share a little bit about the author as well, Leo Bormans. He's based in Belgium, and he has written 3 books. They are all bestsellers. And the first book is the World Book of Happiness. The second book is the World Book of Love. And the third one is the World Book of Hope. So a great history of evidence-based scholars that are working on something that is very powerful and actually works. Adults serve as important models of hopeful thinking for children. This I personally really I'm inspired by, especially during the COVID pandemic that we recently faced all over the world. That it's very important to actually model adult and positive behavior amongst the younger people that we are associated with, and that is very important. And last but not the least, you can live some weeks without food, only days without water, but not a second without hope. This is such a powerful quote by Professor Kaziran, who's based in Beirut, and that just shows. We all go through difficult times in our lives, but we have a choice. There's an external environment and an internal environment. External environment we cannot control, but internal environment we can control, right? And that is a choice that we make every day to remain hopeful. So now, enough of my talk. I usually, when I do these talks, I want to engage with the audience, and we are developing a hope reservoir, like basically developing a hope dam. So I want you to reflect on this. You can share this in the chat if you want, but if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Who are the names of trusted people, pets, or important positions that come into your mind? Write those down. So we are developing your hope reservoir, your hope dam in Greece. Imagine that, visualize that. So which names come into your mind instantly when you talk about hope, when you talk about someone that you really trust a lot? Okay. Second of all, the honest people in your life. They are on your speed dial, on your smartphone, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, on your Facebook, that you ask, oh, this person is just unconditional love, they will listen to me without any judgment. Bingo, right? Safe, has never hurt me or anybody else. It's interesting when we reflect on these questions that we have never thought internally on how to build ourselves, right? And that is very important. So self-development is all about internal reflection, right? Listens to what I have to say. And that's the difficult part. Listening is an art. When I was in the US, I was amazed to see that there's a listening association as well. They listen they have a meeting every week on how do you be an active listener. So who listens to you when the going gets tough? When the going is good, when people are happy, when people are optimistic, it's easy to listen, right? But who listens to you when things are going extremely unexpected and will say, you are going through a difficult time. Take a deep breath. I'm there for you. So that's very powerful. Understands me and what I need or want. That's very important. Again, feelings. Who understands you as a person, makes time for me. Are you always busy, or do you make time for people that actually matter? So making time is always a choice. Reliable, predictable, and dependable. 3 action words. Who's always reliable, who's always predictable, and who's dependable? So while you are reflecting on this, you will be refreshing your memory and say, oh, this person, this person, this person, this person. So we are developing a very strong dam internally for you to cope. Respects everybody. And last but not the least, authentic, genuine. So I'll just like to pause here for a second. This was a lot of reflection. And just read the chat while we go along. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Any questions so far? So this you can do with your with the people that you interact. You can do it in your academic setting. You can do it in your career guidance service as well. You can do it in your counseling practice as well. And this will, it's important when we are doing career guidance, it's important the more we know about ourselves, the more we will be able to help our clients better, right? So now I would like to share something, a personal hope skill activity. You can measure your level of hope. The following are kinds of questions you can expect dealing with your current and recent thoughts and feelings. So this is very important. In the last 2 weeks, I want you to answer these questions based on the following. I feel hopeful about achieving a major goal. If you have felt that feeling very strongly, you will mention a 5. If you have not faced that feeling, you will mention a 1. And in between is a 3. I feel loved by someone. My emotions are in control. I draw inspiration from my spiritual beliefs. I can turn to a good friend or family member to help me relax. I'm able to rely on outside help to achieve my goals. I feel part of a group, inclusion. I feel that I matter to someone. There are people in my life that are inspiring to me to do my best work. And last but not the least, spiritual guidance is contributing to my success in life. So I'll just pause here for a few minutes while you go through this personal reflection. So don't worry, this PowerPoint presentation, you can actually, this will be a gift to all of you. So you don't have to worry about the content. I believe in the practice of giving. So all the participants that have registered for this webinar will actually receive these slides. Just spend a few more minutes while you are going through this. You're welcome. So it's very important while you are doing this activity and you are mentioning how you are feeling the last 2 weeks. I want you to do this on a regular basis. Monitor your behavior, monitor your feelings, monitor how you're feeling right now, and do this for at least 6 weeks. And if for some reason there's a lot of hopelessness, I mean, things happen, right, in life, then I will request you to seek professional help ASAP. So hope is important, but mental health is also important, right? So it's important to have boundaries, right? So when I work with clients, I always say that, you know, seeking professional help is wisdom. It means that you matter, you are important. And just saying, oh, you know, this is just, we're having a difficult week, it's going to be okay. You have to monitor, you have to have an accountability partner. Could be anyone. Could be someone that you really trust, that will observe your behavior on how you are doing in the last 6 weeks, whether you are being hopeful or whether you are going down the drain. So it's very important to actually reflect on your behavior, reflect on your feelings, reflect how you are feeling and how hopeful you are. So who can think of an accountability partner on a lighter note right now? If you want to develop if you want to assign an accountability partner that will make sure that you are not only hopeful, but you are also enjoying the better moments of life. How many people have an accountability partner? Thank you for sharing your score as well. I do have one. Okay, nice. Thank you. Okay, thank you for taking active part in this activity. So this is a great example that, you know, you are in the midst of nowhere and you see this small seed of positivity, seed of greenery, and seed of actually changing your whole mindset. I live in a region where hope is a choice. There's a lot of things that are going on across me, right? That I have no control. But what I have in control is I can be internally be very peaceful and I can inspire people. That is within me. So I don't want the environment to come on me, but I want to make sure that I'm able to swim internally through my own hope practice. So now we'll give a short lesson on roots and wings. A sense of connection, belonging, family, and identity. Who or what gives you a sense of roots? What can you do to strengthen your roots? Who can inspire you and validate your power? What are your ideals and how will you uphold them in the future? So it's very inspiring while we are doing these reflection exercises to actually think inward and to develop and to reflect deeper that who are the people that are really uplifting us in these difficult times, who are supporting us, who are encouraging us, who are mentoring us. What are your ideals and how will you uphold them in the future? Is this someone who has already given you some wings, or someone new that you hope will give you even more wings? So reflect in the past, which person gave you wings to fly? Or wings to actually go to the next level, whether that's towards your master's, whether that's towards your PhD, whether that's towards achieving a scholarship or anything else that has supported you unconditionally. It could be a very famous person, a hero, or an unsung hero. So again, if you are finding it difficult, we don't need to have all the answers right now. This initial session is just to make you think deeper and ask your significant other or ask your best friend who knows you very well that, I just had the opportunity to hear a talk on hope. Let's reflect collectively. At times when we are with a significant other, our optimism level increases and we think faster. Okay. So never give up. Situations can change overnight. Problems can dissolve in the light of a new day's sun. So I wanted to keep this very short, but I want to spend some time taking your questions. I think one of the key learnings of a session is a two-way communication. Not just reflecting, but also having a dialogue. So I will spend the next few minutes in taking your questions, whatever questions you might have. And then we will conclude this talk with my information and contact details that you can remain in touch. So any questions that you want to ask? And this I wanted to share. I was very humbled to be profiled in the World Book of Hope. And this was shared in the World Book of Hope. We should be ever hopeful, and this includes striving for a growth-oriented, flexible mindset. Since this webinar was the first of its kind, I want you to go and visit this website. This talks in detail about the evidence-based hope theory. It has various assessments that I want you to reflect upon. And then based on that, we can have another session that talks about the assessments that you are more interested in. I'll be happy to keep in touch via LinkedIn, and I will encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It has a lot of information that you can reflect on in your guidance practice, as well as it has interviews of leading career luminaries in our practice. So on that note, thank you for the opportunity. And now the floor is open for Q&A. So we have a question: how can we instill hope to those who are reluctant to envision themselves successful? Now, this is a great question. At times, the people have a lot of negative self-talk. They are very critical on themselves. And that is very important to give them various perspectives so that they can actually see it from different views. And it is important, while reluctancy, it is very important to have an ongoing dialogue. And first, have a session to see what do they feel that they believe that they are reluctant to envision themselves successful. What are the blocks? What are the challenges that they are seeing themselves in that lens? We have a raised hand. Can you please ask the question? Introduce yourself. I cannot hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Raza, for the talk. I just wanted to ask you a few questions that I have from this talk. You know, I've been through my life into some toxic work environments where hope is actually where I couldn't find hope. So my question is basically, how do you find hope in a toxic work environment where there is no support, there's no positive emotions, you feel betrayed and hurt there? How do you manage that? And um, how do you remain hopeful and optimistic? Thank you.
That's an excellent question. Thank you for raising that. Well, there are several things that you can do. First of all, I would recommend that you are in that situation, you have a choice to remain in that situation or to actually leave that situation, number one. If you can leave that situation, that is excellent. That will make the toxic environment go away. If for some reason you cannot leave and you need the job and you need to pay the bills and all the other stuff, right? So what you can do is you can do journaling and you can mention what things are really affecting your well-being. Third of all, where is the toxic behavior coming from? Is it the boss? Is it the team? Or is it the environment? You need to identify the toxic behavior and then have a dialogue and be specific about what types of things is actually bothering you. Have a dialogue with the person. If it's the boss, have a direct conversation, making sure it's gentle, not assertive. If nothing happens, then go to the HR, human resources. If still nothing happens, then I think it's time to move. It's time to leave. So these are some things that will hopefully make a difference. But I think one of the things that is very important is to journaling and to take care of your mental health, to make sure that your well-being is not affected by this whole. I have personally been have gone through situations where the environment was very toxic. And I actually faced those with a lot of courage and a lot of optimism without affecting my work as well. But the things that I mentioned, these are very useful strategies to actually overcome the situation. And remember, there are numerous opportunities that are available. We don't have to suffer in silence. There are always mechanisms in organizations to actually express that. If psychological safety, that is the term that is used in organizations these days, if that is not practiced, then you have a choice to move on. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Mr. Raza. You see, I can really totally get the point of view that you're speaking right now, but sometimes it's not possible or even remotely possible to actually talk to an HR or a person above you because yes, in this private sector, yes, that can be actually possible, but in the public sector, this is not basically how things work. There are different factors and places at hand, but I think that you have pointed out some significantly important inputs, and I'm gonna write them down so that I can remember them in case that I find myself again in similar environments. Thank you very much for your talk and for your answer to my question.
You're welcome. But one thing I would like to further endorse, at times you are right, and the public sector is extremely, you just have to follow, you have to be a good follower and you have to just face it. So for that, unfortunately, believe it or not, you need to make sure that you are an important person and your well-being comes number one. So at least spend 1 hour outdoors, do some sort of an activity, whether it's like walking or jogging or swimming, to actually channel that negativity that you are experiencing. And journaling really helps. Journaling always helps. And public sector is a choice, right? You can always go to the private sector. There are opportunities in the private sector as well. So public sector, while the employment is secure, but there are always different avenues. The other one is that you can also start your own gig. These days, a lot of people are doing YouTube work. They are doing private practice. They're doing career coaching on LinkedIn. Our host is a perfect example of that. So there are different opportunities to actually navigate your career. So I wish you all the best in that. There were a few questions as well regarding hope theory, I would like to recommend and share Dr. Anthony Scioli, who is the president of the Hope Institute. He's an authority on hope. I have mentioned gainhope.com that has all his books, all his publications available. As our time was limited, so I just shared the website that will help you navigate that. No, Scioli with an S, Schioli. Any other questions?
We had one also. Is hope related to self-efficacy? Could you recommend some articles about hope theory as well?
Okay.
And
I
also,
will recommend, they are various authors about hope. So if you are looking about hope in regards to career guidance, so there's a professor in the US, Dr. Niles. He is based in the US, and he talks a lot about career development and hope. Dr. Anthony Scioli has a different model that is more integrative. So it depends on what your actual need is. And I can share those links after we are done with this talk to the host directly.
Also, I'm going to recommend Tristram Hooley. He's a professor of career guidance in the UK. He has done work on hope-based decision-making, and as well as instilling hope within the field of career guidance. There is also some translated work of his in the conference proceedings of the Cyprus Greek Conference of 2021. I did the translation together with Mr. Drossos, and you can find those on my LinkedIn as well.
There's another question. I just wanted to answer this. So,
before we go to the last one, we also have a previous we skipped. In difficult times or in difficult situations, I connect hope mostly with actions rather than thinking or feeling. Could that be an approach?
Yes, definitely. You can. That's an excellent perspective. So while you are thinking and you are feeling, but you have to take an action as well. And this perfect example, this webinar is also an action, right? On a lighter note. So we need to come up with small baby steps on what specific actions do you want to take to come out of that hopelessness. And one of the things, the most difficult thing is to actually take action. So the best way to do that is take a baby step and then move forward. So you don't have to take a leap bound, a much bigger step, but actually take a small baby steps, and then that will eventually help you move forward.
We also have another question. Could you please tell us about special groups like prisoners who lives only with hope? There is some other strategy in that particular special group?
As I mentioned very briefly, we deal with 4 segments of the society. For the Hope Institute, we deal with the prisoners, number 1. We'll deal with patients and doctors, number 2, in various hospitals. Number 3, we deal with the educators, and we deal with students. And number 4, we deal with the corporate employees that are hopeless because of lack of engagement. And our practice for all these 4 groups are, we give them a pre-hope test assessment on what is their current state of hope. And usually that is, they are on the negative side. And then we do 5 to 6 cognitive behavioral therapy sessions of 90 minutes each, followed by a post-hope assessment. And the majority of the behavior that is also mentioned in the Gain Hope website as well, their behaviors were modified. So this is a cognitive behavior therapy based approach that modifies behavior towards being hopeful. I hope I answered the question.
Another question came. I also need to remind you, μπορείτε όλοι να κάνετε και ερωτήσεις στα ελληνικά και θα τις μεταφράσω. So the other question is adolescence and feeling of hopelessness, vanity in pursuing educational and vocational goals, Are there any techniques for this target group?
There are different types of techniques. We will have to go into much more detail to understand the audience, what type of audience, what are the specific challenges. But when we actually go to a specific group, we first do a needs analysis of what the actual challenge is. So without knowing the actual details, but one of the things that we do when we do these trainings, it's a very participatory approach and it's a very interactive approach. And we use various methodologies to ensure that people, that not only the exercises are very reflective, so it's a lot of reflection, it's lots of assessment, and it's a lot of interaction with the participants.
You can keep posting questions in the chat. And I also want to take this time to make a small reflection about other actions we can do as a career guidance community in Greece. So, Raza, give me some minutes to talk in Greek. Καθώς είδατε λοιπόν ότι υπήρχε αρκετό engagement στην σημερινή συνάντηση και είδα πολύ μεγάλη δραστηριότητα και συνεργεία από όλους, θέλω λίγο να σας κάνω μερικές ερωτήσεις. Αρχικά να μπορείτε να απαντάτε με ναι ή όχι στο chat. Αν σας ενδιαφέρει να παρακολουθήσετε και κάποιο άλλο webinar πάλι από κάποιον προσκεκλημένο στα αγγλικά, με ένα απλό ναι ή όχι ή ένα like στα reaction. Okay, now we'll ask them about the difficulty of the English language comprehension. Τώρα θα ήθελα στο chat από το 1 ως το 10 πόσο δύσκολο, τονίζω λέξη δύσκολη, ήταν η κατανόηση των αγγλικών. So from 1 till 10, how difficult was the understanding of the English speaking language? 1 μέχρι 10 πόσο δύσκολο ήταν. Okay, very nice. From this data, we can conclude that inviting non-native English speakers and people who speak English as the second language are more understanding, and we can do many more webinars either with Raza or other speakers for the Greek community. Now, any other questions towards Raza and about instilling hope? Μπορείτε και στα ελληνικά και ευχαρίστως να μεταφράσω είτε με μικρόφωνο είτε στο chat. Αν ντρέπεστε μπορείτε να μου τις στείλετε και direct στον host και τις βλέπω μόνο εγώ και μπορώ και επίσης να τις μεταφράσω και από εκεί. So until we have another question, Raza, I want to take this time to ask you further more questions about what do you find most challenging in dealing with people who have lost hope, and what do you find more beneficial for them?
I think the most difficult challenge that I have seen in people, that you see that they need hope and they're not taking hope, is denial to seek hope. That is the biggest challenge that I have seen in my practice. I mean, when people are agreeing to hope, that gives you optimism, that gives you hope, that gives you positivity. But our biggest challenge is the people that really need hope is to bring them closer. And that is our biggest challenge. That's our biggest struggle. But one of the key things is keep trying, be persistent, try different angles to convince them that they really need it. Through various allies, we have allies of hope. It's not just one person, but we need various people that are able to give that perspective, to give people that are actually going through various difficult times. So don't do it alone. You have people develop hope providers, capacitate people in hope, and especially in the COVID pandemic. My YouTube channel, I wanted to share something very briefly while you guys are still on the call. the COVID pandemic, a lot of people were going through a lot of misery. There were massive deaths all over the world. And here, as a private practice, I had an option to continue to join the misery or to take action. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. And I started igniting with different career scholars from all over the world. And I said, you know, the work that we do, our career guidance work, it is very important work. We are making a difference in people's lives through guidance and counseling. And that was hope in very difficult times. That was my lived experience of hope. And last but not the least, I would like to share that currently I'm working with an international body on a United Nations Day for Careers and Livelihood Day. So let me just share you the link very quickly. It's on my LinkedIn page. Just give me 1 second. So while I bring this, just give me 1 second.
In the meantime, I will highly recommend to everybody, I will speak now in Greek so it's more understandable. Ο κύριος Ράζα στο YouTube το κανάλι έκανε ένα παγκόσμιο μήνα για τον επαγγελματικό προσανατολισμό και την καριέρα και τη σταδιοδρομία και πήρε συνεντεύξεις από ακαδημαϊκούς, κορυφαίους συμβούλους σταδιοδρομίας από όλο τον κόσμο, οι φορείς του επαγγελματικού προσανατολισμού σε παγκόσμιο, διεθνές, ευρωπαϊκό επίπεδο και υπάρχουν αυτά τα βίντεο στο YouTube που τα έχω δει προσωπικά και έμαθα πάρα πολύ ωραίες τεχνικές τόσο για την ελπίδα όσο και για άλλα θέματα. Switching back into English, I was telling them about the Global Careers Month on your YouTube channel, the things I've learned through watching those videos, and also the skills I gained while going through them.
So thank you very much. I just wanted to share, this is a dream that I will really want that we as a careers community are able to achieve this within our lives, hopefully. We have a very strong and a compassionate group of volunteers that are advocating, and if I would like all the Greek professional community to go to this website and to sign the petition. Number one, it will take you maximum 2 minutes, and then pick any UN day and link it to career guidance and career development. Very simple, no rocket science, right? And you can see my articles on it. I've contributed to various UN days. So very quickly, just pick any UN day and link it to that. So on that note, thank you very much. I would like to thank the host, Δημήτρης, for his excellent coordination and his proactiveness. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank the participants for taking the time out to listen to Hope. And I look forward keeping in touch via LinkedIn. Stay blessed. Thank you.
Πριν σας αφήσω να σας καληνυχτήσω, first of all, I will switch to English to salute my friend Raza. We've been talking through LinkedIn quite a while. It was a pleasure working and organizing this event and bringing something really interesting to the Greek counselors community. So it's been an honor and thank you for delivering these wonderful skills and assessments and exercise we can do with our beneficiaries. And we can do a lot more since we just started. Now we'll talk about the material they will find on their emails in Greek. Στο email που θα λάβετε είτε σήμερα το βράδυ είτε αύριο το πρωί θα έχει το link στο κανάλι του YouTube του Raza με τα βίντεο για το Global Careers Month κλπ. Ένα link με το παρόν webinar για όποιον θέλει να το ξαναδεί ή δεν το παρακολούθησε όλο, καθώς και την παρουσίαση, το PowerPoint, το οποίο μας έδειξε σήμερα ο Raza, που έχει και τις όμορφες ασκήσεις που μπορούμε να κάνουμε. So basically, all the links and material will be included in the email you're going to receive. Now, a last gallop. We're thinking with Raza if some other webinars can be done on Saturday, on Sunday. Θέλω λίγο να μου ψηφίσετε στο chat αν θα ήσασταν ανοιχτοί να παρακολουθήσετε παρόμοιο webinar, είτε με το Raza ή με κάποιον άλλο μιλητή, είτε Σάββατο πρωί, είτε Κυριακή πρωί. Μπορείτε να μου γράψετε Σάββατο ή Κυριακή, για να δω λίγο στο chat, λίγο αντιδράσεις. Okay, so... βλέπουμε και Saturday. So a lot of people are voting for Sunday for another one. Because in the middle of the week, it's also kind of hard for somebody because they have to change their own clients and then schedules that they have already to attend. Ευχαριστώ όλους τους συναδέλφους που βρεθήκαν σήμερα εδώ. Ήταν μεγάλη μας χαρά που σας είχαμε και πάρα πολύ για το τόσο μεγάλο engagement και την διάδραση που υπήρχε. So thank you all for being highly active in the chat, participating, asking questions, taking part in the reflection exercises. And I will give Raza the final salute.
Thank you very much. This was beyond my expectations. And next time I will promise to learn some Greek language to make it more engaging. Thank you.
We will close with the word of hope in Greek, which is ελπίδα. The most important word. Yeah, the most important word. And we say good night with this one. Οπότε, εύχομαι ελπίδα και αισιοδοξία. I wish everybody hope and optimism and good night.